Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're catching this broadcast. I want to welcome you. My name is Jay Moore, your healthy accountant, and I want to welcome you to today's Enlightenment series here on Facebook Live and also on YouTube. Um, Thank you so much, guys. So today's title of our broadcast is Your Purpose Will Take You into Pain. Your purpose will take you into pain. So this weekend, I had an opportunity to listen to a couple of broadcasts on YouTube. Um, you know, that really centered around purpose. One gentleman um, used this purpose to really create a really good life for himself. However, it was staying true to his moral values and character and the things that he believed, and how he's not only changed his own life, but because of the success that he's having and had in his life, he's able to affect a lot of people. Then another was a pastor, and so the pastor was talking about how he had many opportunities to go into, a different field. Actually, he had an opportunity, to go into my field. He had gotten a degree in a double major, and he also had a degree in accounting, and he was being recruited by some of the top companies, and getting job offer after job offer, but he would not take any job offers because he knew that he had a purpose to do things, that was centered around his ministry and the things that he really wanted to accomplish. And so, as I thought about this title, the pain that you'll experience when you move towards purpose, I immediately turned to the purpose of Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 4, verse 1, 2, and 3. And it says, immediately after his baptism, Jesus was led by the Holy Spirit into the Judean wilderness to pray and to prepare for his ministry. But the devil would not leave him alone. While in the wilderness, Jesus fasted for 40 days, and he became extremely hungry unto death. I added that piece because he was almost dead. Then the devil confronted him by disguising himself as an angel from heaven. He told Jesus that his fast was over and that his Father had given him permission to use his divine power to turn some of the desert stones into bread. I'm going to stop there. Your purpose will take you into pain. Now, Jesus had a purpose. He knew what his purpose was. He had spent 30 years of his life preparing. Now imagine this. How long has it taken you to realize your purpose? A lot of times we want to go into our purpose. We want to find out what it is, and then we're rushing. We're trying, like, man, I can't figure it out. And I know I'm 47. So, and I didn't know my purpose at 30. I'm still learning what my purpose is at 47. The fact that Jesus knew his at 30 is 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 really an amazing feat, because most people don't ever find out what their purpose is in life. And so here it is. He's 30 years old. He finally realizes it's time. He gets baptized. But before he could start, he would now have to go through some of the hardest challenges that he would ever experience before he really moved toward that purpose. So let's look at this. Here it is. Jesus goes into the wilderness, going to spend 40 days there, no food, fasting. And now you got an angel that shows up. Now, think about this. He, if you've been fasting for 10 days, 20 days, I can imagine that things are going to start looking a bit weird. Maybe he couldn't see clear, in his physical strength, but in his spiritual understanding of who God is, He knew. He knew that, wait a second, this is no angel from my God. This is no angel from heaven. There's no way. There's no way that this is. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Many of us would have been so tempted, because our appetites would not have been able to withstand that amount of time. I couldn't even imagine doing 40 days. Now, I've done fasting before, and I'm gonna tell you, it's been painful. I remember I fasted for a week, and I think and I think I may have been drinking water, um, but it wasn't like totally barren where we didn't eat nothing, but we didn't eat like any solid foods. But I'm gonna tell you, that fasting thing, 40 days, that's a long time. No food. And here it is. He's getting ready for his big mission. And he's now got to go through some pain to get there. So how many of you have experienced pain in your life that felt like it was overtaking you at that moment? Like you felt like there's no way that you can continue. Like I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be at a point in your life, and I've been there recently. You're at a point in your life, you're like, man, wow, this is painful. But I know on the other side of this pain is, I'm talking about something unbelievable. Something unbelievable that the pain will be worth it. But the thing is, can you withstand the pain? Is the pain bearable? Every day I wake up and I look outside. I say, man, I got to go outside. I got to run. Yesterday I missed a day of running, and I was beside myself because it snowed, and the ground's all messed up, and I didn't have any. I've got boots, but I didn't want to like run in those. Those aren't comfortable. Um, and so I was just like, I said, man, I missed the day of running. But then my wife was like, man, you could have walked. I said, man, you're absolutely right. I could have walked. I could have just got out there and just walked around for an hour. So this morning I go out and I was just like, man, the ground is even worse than yesterday, because today's ground was ice, like literally ice all over the ground. And I said, yeah, I'm not going to be running on this because I might fall. I don't want to hurt myself. So I walked in. Lo and behold, it was very icy. But I'm walking and I'm saying to myself, wow, you know, the thing about the the thing about doing something purposeful is that there's always going to be some pain. Like walking today was a little bit different because I never got warm. Like when I'm running, I'm I get warm after about 5, 6, 7 minutes. My body's warming up. My head's hot. My hands are warmed up. My feet don't get as warm as my hands. But today, nothing got warm. Like I'm just walking out there. And I'm like, man, my gloves aren't working. And so I'm saying to myself, but why am I doing it? You know why I'm doing this? I say, man, I'm doing it because health is the most important thing. But I'm also doing it because I'm working to build a character muscle that when your character is of high caliber and you're working and you're living in your purpose, pain goes away. Just like when, Jesus is fasted for 40 days, in Matthew 4. He's fasted 40 days. He's experiencing some of the most pain he's ever experienced because he has not eaten any food. But because of his purpose, he did not allow that to overtake him. And here it is, devil comes and he's going to tempt him. He's going to, see if Jesus is really on his game. And that's usually where we're all tempted. And I'm listening to this book. It's called Can't Hurt Me. And, ex-Navy SEAL David Goggins, he shares his story of pain. And what he's sharing is that usually when you get to a certain level of pain, you can actually experience more pain. And this man put his body through some of the most grueling things. Like I'm telling myself, you ran 100 miles in 24 hours, no training. He found out about a race on Wednesday. On Saturday, he's running in this race. Almost killed himself, but he did it. What? It's kind of like, wow, wait a second. Wait, Jesus did that with no eating. Now, David did it through something totally different. But what he shares, now, Jesus didn't get a chance to share it with us. But what David shared with us about this pain is that you can get to a point in your life where pain is so intense that you then have to actually push just a little bit further, not a lot further. He talks about going 5 or 10% more. Say 1 week, you do 30 miles 1 week, just do 5% more the next. Just do 5% more the next week. Because what happens is all of a sudden you gradually take yourself further and further and further, and then your body is just like, I can do that. I can do that. So when you're living on purpose, then what happens is every time you experience a pain, then it's like you develop a groove in your mind where your mind is saying to yourself, okay, well, I've been through some pain before. This is a little bit new, but you know what? I think I can do that. And then you keep going a little bit further. You keep going a little bit further. Now, you don't have to go extreme the first time, because a lot of times if you decide you want to be like Jesus, right? Go ahead and fast for 40 days. I wouldn't recommend that, just like David wouldn't recommend you going running 100 miles with no training. Because most people cannot do that, just like most people cannot do what Jesus did in 40 days. I would not try that on just doing it, because who knows what would happen. Now, Jesus is on a different level when it comes to mental capability. Just like, David may have been on a different level because of some of the things he already experienced. So a lot of times experiences help you in pushing through to where you want to go when you're dealing with your purpose. And so the thing about purpose is, and purpose has become very cliches, right? Everyone's, I need to figure out my purpose these days. I need to live in my purpose. And I'm absolutely for everyone figuring it out. The thing about this thing called purpose is that you must make a commitment, not just to your purpose. You've got to make a commitment to personal growth. I was listening to John Maxwell just maybe a day yesterday. I was listening to John Maxwell, which prompted me to pick up a couple of books that I had on my bookshelf. And John Maxwell was talking about the fact that when he was, 24 years old, here it is, he's looking to, I think he had got a promotion to go to one of the biggest churches, in his denomination. And then he was also presented with an opportunity to buy a personal growth kit. And so the salesman at the time asked him a question: do you have a personal growth plan? John was like, what are you talking about? Like, what is that? Because he didn't understand what it was. See, a lot of times what happens is we think that we can go from one place to the next just based on doing the stuff, when that's not always the case. See, because if you don't actually have a plan to grow, then you won't grow into that purpose that you ultimately want to pursue and you ultimately want to be able to achieve. So achievements you can achieve, but only to the level of your personal growth. And so John just pretty much broke that down so eloquently, because he is the foremost expert on leadership. And I picked up one of his books, and it's the 15 irrefutable laws of 15 laws of personal growth. Just so happened to have it on my bookshelf that I had not read yet. And I said, you know what? I'm going to read this book this week. The first law is the law of intention. Intention. You must intend to do what it is that you say you're going to do. You must intend to do everything. If you don't have any intention, And if you don't have a plan behind that intention, if you don't understand all the steps that's required so that you can intend to do all these things, then it's not going to happen. Many of us have gone through our lives where we didn't intend to get to the place that we are. I didn't intend to be broke, at one point in my life. I didn't intend to have to file bankruptcy. I didn't intend to do any of it, but I did it. So if that wasn't the intention, then how did I get to that place? I didn't have a personal growth plan. I was not growing in the manner in which that would support the desires and the goals that I'd set out for myself. So purpose is great. Yes, there will be pain to go into your purpose and to achieve that purpose. But without personal growth, it's going to be almost virtually impossible for you to achieve it and maintain it, because that pain that will come as a result, see, that's that pain that will weed you out. It will just cut you down to size. See, personal growth is one of those things where if you are not growing to the level of that purpose, it's going to say, oh, Jay's not ready for that. Let's go ahead and get him back down to the level where he needs to be so that he does not continue to hurt himself. So your purpose, yes, you need to know what that is. Your purpose will take you into pain. Yes, you need to understand that pain is going to come. Now, pain is temporary, or pain could be permanent if you don't have a personal growth plan. So don't take it from me, because John Maxwell is the foremost expert on leadership. He's teaching millions of people all around the world leadership in so many countries. He's worked with so many people. It's really amazing. And he started out as a pastor and realized that his mission, his purpose was greater than him only being a pastor. And so now he's taken that purpose. Yes, I'm sure he had a lot of pain, but because of his personal growth plan and his decision to grow every day constantly, that pain became temporary and that pain subsided because of that growth plan. So today, what I want you to do is this. I want you to write out a personal growth plan. What are you going to read? How are you going to read it? When are you going to do it? Are you going to attend any conferences? Are you going to have a mentor? You must have a personal growth plan, because that is what's going to get you to the next level that you want to get to. Having a personal growth plan. Purpose, yes, you're going to get there. Pain is going to come. But when the pain comes, when you have risen up to the level of your growth, you're going to get through that pain. And that's going to be a certainty that I know that you'll be able to achieve in your life. So personal growth plan today, guys. Figure out how many books you're going to read, mentors you're going to have, but definitely go out there, find some books from John Maxwell. Because if anything, if you just read all of his books, which I know I'm going to say at one point in my life, I've read all of John Maxwell's books, because if he is the leadership expert, then I need to make sure that I know everything that he knows so that I can share that with the world in the purpose that I know God has for me. So guys, I thank you for joining me today. Go out there and create your personal growth plan, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. God bless you.